Mirror is seriously one of the best shows I ever watched. Hands down. Here is a list of my top 10 Black Mirror episodes. My number one pick, it might surprise you, but trust me, every episode on my list,
it sticks for a reason.
And with season 7 coming out soon, I'll be reviewing each of those 6 episodes too, and probably re-ranking my list. So make sure you turn your notifications on, obviously subscribe to the channel, and like this video too, guys, if you like to watch TV show reviews and also movie reviews. Now, let's get started with this list, but forewarning guys, there will be spoilers ahead. So if you haven't watched Black Mirror on Netflix, go ahead, watch that, but make sure you save this video and come back later. All right, so number 10 on my list. Mind you, there are no bad Black Mirror episodes. I just want to say that again. USS Callister. Now, this episode wasn't higher up on my list because the technology was perplexing and questionable. In fact, you Black Mirror fanatics out there, answer me this. Is it any way that Robert Daly is still alive? I really think that it's a way that they can bring him back. Although in season 7 interviews, they said that he's definitely dead. I would not be surprised if somehow he did not die in his apartment alone after he exited the game or after he got stuck in the game. See, the technology is confusing. But anyway, let me back up real quick and give you a quick synopsis of USS Callister. A socially awkward programmer, Robert Daly, creates a virtual reality world based on his favorite Star Trek-like show, where he enslaves digital copies of his coworkers, forcing them to play out his fantasies as crew members on a USS Callister. Guys, you better be nice to your coworkers, just saying. You might end up in a bad situation. But nonetheless, what I liked about this episode was, I liked everything, but I liked the acting. I love the dialogue. I love the plot. It was just a very thought-provoking episode. And I think about Robert Daly a lot. I'm just wondering, even if he is dead, we'll find out soon, but was he diagnosed with something? What was his personality like? Like, his coworkers didn't really do anything wrong to him, in my opinion. They did not deserve that treatment. But anyway, Robert Daly was a very interesting villain. The technology was just crazy to me because Robert had a machine where even if he had a little bit of DNA from his coworkers, let's say like a used coffee cup or a half-eaten lollipop, that he could actually make a digital copy of them. That was kind of perplexing to me. Like, is all of our memories and our consciousness in like a small cell in DNA? That was very, very confusing to me. Otherwise, this episode would have been top 5 for me nonetheless. All right, guys, we're moving on to number 9. This episode was so creepy, and it reminds me of Tales from the Hood. If I was a smoker, I would have sparked up after watching it. Seriously, this was sick. Number 9 is Black Museum. Black Museum follows Nish, a traveler who visits a creepy roadside museum run by the shady Rolo Haynes. As he shares 3 disturbing tales of experimental technology gone wrong, Nish's true motives unfold. In a shocking twist, she turns the tables on Rolo, making him the museum's final exhibit. A chilling tale of exploitation, justice, and tech nightmares. Woo! Black Museum. One of the real ones. What I loved about this episode is I love the way she outsmarted Rolo. I won't say too much about the twist at the end too, but she really outsmarted him. And I love how this episode was 3 episodes all in one. Similar to the formula that they followed for White Christmas. I love that as well. I love the storytelling. I love just the visuals too. I love seeing the exhibits. Although it's creepy, it was very interesting to watch. And it was interesting to watch the museum owner just tell all these stories about the technology going wrong. So, yep, that's number 9 on my list. Moving on to number 8. Number 8 is White Bear. Victoria, a woman with amnesia, wakes up in a world where people are obsessed with filming and watching her suffer as she becomes the target of a group of hunters, only to discover the entire situation is a staged justice spectacle within a park where people are entertained by watching others being tortured. Oof. Now, what I liked about this is, well, for one, just the way it's so memorable. This is one of the episodes that live rent-free in my head whenever I see everybody with their phone out just filming something that maybe they shouldn't be filming, you know? But the question I had after watching this was like, how much can you torture someone? I don't want to give away the twist at the end. Again, this one has a twist, right? Victoria, she deserved to be punished. But do you deserve to be punished forever? So the technology in White Bear is like a simple machine where they put it on Victoria's head at the end of every day, and it deletes all of her memories. So She has no idea why she's being hunted in this park, why she's being tortured. So every day she lives out this torture again and again and again. And what I really liked about this episode as well was the acting. I mean, Black Mirror, that's one of the reasons that they are one of the #1 shows is because of the acting, because of the scripting. But this one, it just lives rent free in your head. Wait till you see it. Wait till you see like the TV signal symbols. It's so creepy. Now, next on my list is #7. Now, this episode, think about it every day because it made me change my departure phrase. Instead of me saying,
And be right back.
I'll say like, see you in a few minutes, see you in a few moments, something like that. Anything to avoid saying,
And be right back.
because I don't want to end up like Ash. But let me tell you about this episode. Martha grieves the loss of her boyfriend Ash in a car accident, then discovers a technology that allows her to communicate with an AI simulation of him, also known as an android, leading to a complex exploration of grief, technology, and the nature of love. Now, what I adored about this episode was it was just a beautiful love story. Martha and Ash together 10 years. No kids at first, but she did find out shortly after he passed away that she was pregnant. But the saddest part was that she ended up not liking the robot version of Ash because she figured that he's just not replacing Ash. He was too passive. Again, he's a robot, so he was doing whatever she told him to do. But comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. So she, at the end, she ended up just putting robot Ash in the attic and keeping him there with all of like his mother's pictures of his dead father and the dead brother. So they have all of their memorabilia in the attic. And the daughter they have, when they flash forward about 6 years, she says something like, oh, it's the weekend. Can I go to the attic? So apparently she gets to see her dad every weekend. They go visit the attic. It was just so weird and interesting to me. But comment down below. Let me know what you think. Like, one thing about Martha, she did like the romance part of Robot Ash. She liked that part. She liked hunting him. So I'm wondering if she keeping him in the attic just to bring him down to satisfy her needs and then sending his crazy back up. #6, Shut Up and Dance. This Black Mirror episode had the best twist in history, hands down. I don't want to give away the twist, but let me give you a short synopsis of Shut Up and Dance. A teenage boy named Kenny is blackmailed by anonymous hackers into bizarre and criminal acts after they obtain a video of him masturbating. Now, what worked for this episode is you will absolutely be rooting for this young man. I think he's about 18 years old, 18, maybe 19 years old, but you feel so bad for him. He looks so young, so clueless. Like, why are these people blackmailing him? Like, what's going on? Like, they're making him rob banks. They're making him fight another grown man. Like, it was just a lot going on. He was literally being, like, tortured. Nonetheless, at the end, when you find out what he did, it's like a jaw-dropping moment. Again, just one of the best twists that I ever seen on any TV show, to be honest. But I felt bad for him, then I didn't. Then I kind of was feeling bad for him again, because how does somebody that young end up so twisted? Again, he was only 18, 19 years old. Like, I don't know if is he like one of those situations where hurt people? You know, I'm not explaining away what he did. What he did was horrible. However, how did somebody that young get so twisted? I feel like something happened to him. Somebody in his family or a close family friend did him wrong as well, because just to be that young and to be that's sick in the mind, I don't know. But nonetheless, we're going to go on to the next episode. Before we get into the top 5, do you guys remember when Black Mirror had that long hiatus between season 5 and season 6, I believe? It was like a 3-4 year gap right there. Like, tell me, what were you guys watching during that time? I was trying so hard to find something to fill the void of Black Mirror, but I was unsuccessful. I tried watching, it was Twilight Zone. I tried watching a few other Jordan Peele's works, but nothing was working out for me. But comment down below if you found any shows that even could hold a flame to Black Mirror. Let me know down below, please. #5 on my list is Nosedive. This is another episode that I think about almost daily, especially the state that we're in with social media right now being so important. But let me read you the quick synopsis. A woman desperate to boost her social media score hits the jackpot when she's invited to a swanky wedding, but the trip doesn't go as planned. Again, this Nose Out was so much fun to watch. They're in like a very futuristic world where you can't even rent an apartment unless you have a good social media score. Like after you meet somebody in person, they score you right away. And all the information on you is just kept. Anybody could score you, give you a bad score, a good score, but it's very important for you for college admissions, to buy a house, to get a job. Like it's just crazy, and it's really thought provoking because it makes me think, like, is social media going to be this important 20, 30 years down the line? Because if so, I really need to get my act together. Number 4 on my list is White Christmas. Woo! I almost did not watch this episode. When I first turned on this episode, it was a little depressing because the episode, it occurs on Christmas Day, 2 men in a secluded cabin. It was just sad. I'm like, I'm not watching this. I actually clicked out, watched another Black Mirror episode, and had to come back to this one. But I'm so glad that I finished it. But let me tell you about this episode. On Christmas Day, Matt and Joe share 3 eerie stories in a secluded cabin. A man gets remote guidance to seduce a woman. Matt trains a digital clone called Cookies, and Joe obsesses over an ex-fiance after a painful breakup. The episode explores AI, digital consciousness, and real-life internet blocking. So the 3 main things that I love about this episode, I love the internet blocking technology that they had in this episode. I think it was so brilliant how you could block somebody in real life. Like you could be in the middle of an argument and just block them, and they turn into like this pixelated image that you can't hear what they're saying, you can't see their face. I thought that was so amazing. Not sure if that'll ever happen, but I love the creativity of that. The second thing I like about this episode was the twist at the end. Like to just find out that you thought these 2 men were somewhere and they were actually in a whole nother place. Like this was just a simulation. That was sick. And third, what I love about this is just the moral questioning behind the whole Joe and his wife, or I believe she was his fiance actually, Joe and Beth's situation. Like, I do think she could have told him. Obviously, she should not have told him in person because he's unstable, but she definitely should have told him. But I just love the conversations online about this, like whether Joe was wrong, whether Beth was wrong. It was very, very debatable. Number 3 on my top 10 list is San Junipero. Oh my gosh, guys, this episode blew my mind. It wasn't just the plot that took it away from me. It was the cinematography. It was the visuals. It was the whole color scheme. It was the beach town that this took place in. This episode really feels like it infected my brain. Like it feels like I was there right along with them. In the San Junipero episode of Black Mirror, the elderly can upload their consciousness to a virtual afterlife called San Junipero, a simulated beach town where they could live forever as their younger selves with the possibility of visiting for a limited time while still alive. Oh my gosh, this one was so cute. It was a beautiful love story. This is one of the Black Mirror episodes that I like because it wasn't as heavy as the other episodes. But this is also one, could have been almost number 1 for me, but again, I just question the technology of this one as well. But nonetheless, love San Junipero. Wish we would have got somehow a sequel to this one too. Now we're on number 2 already. Again, guys, I just want to say this was so hard to put this list together because again, all of these Black Mirror episodes are so good. I will be re-rating them after season 7 comes out shortly. But number 2 on my list is The Entire History of You. I adore this episode. This is one of the OG episodes where you see the unknown UK actors, and it was so awesome to me. Liam, a lawyer, suspects his wife is having an affair with a friend, Jonas, after seeing her interact with him at a dinner party, leading him to obsessively scrutinize their memories using a technology that records and replays memories. The thing that I like most about this episode was the technology. I love the way you can do a redo. Like they actually had a device on their head where it was called a grain in this one. Can't remember what the technology was actually called in this episode, but you could actually see your memories. Like your job could pull up your memories, your wife could pull up your memories, anybody could just see your memories. And it was just so interesting to me how they brought up the fact of that our memories are very fuzzy. Like your memories might not be accurate, So this is a more accurate way to actually pull up your memories. And I think this is kind of dope. Like, this is something I think I might want to see in the future, though I'm not too sure. It's a lot of dangers that come along with this type of technology. As we see in this episode, right? Liam was obsessing over his wife, whether or not she was cheating with Jonas, and he made her pull up the memory. And he found out what he found out, and he did what he did. Again, don't want to give it all away, especially for this episode, because this episode is one. This is a must watch if you never watched Black Mirror. Start here. You could start on the entire history of you and get the whole concept of Black Mirror. But this is definitely, I don't think no matter how many seasons Black Mirror gets, I don't think this one is dropping off from my top 10. Now we're finally at number 1 on my list, and I know that this is a very unpopular opinion, but I do want to give you some backstory. This is the first ever Black Mirror episode that I watched. I never watched Black Mirror until season 5, episode 1. So Striking Vipers is my number 1 episode because it's most memorable to me. And this is the episode that introduced me to the Black Mirror universe. So let me tell you about Striking Vipers. 2 old friends, Danny and Carl, reconnect over a virtual reality fighting game where they discover a new form of sexual and emotional intimacy, which complicates Danny's marriage and their real life relationship. So what I liked about this episode is, first and foremost, let's start with the actors. I clicked on this episode because I saw Yaya and I saw Anthony Mackie on the thumbnail. I love those 2 men. They are kings in my eyes. I love them so bad. And also what I liked about this episode was just, it just the technology blew my mind that you could upload your consciousness into a video game. And also just the moral questioning behind it. Like, was Danny cheating on his wife because he was having a sexual relationship with his homie, his bro in a game? Like, was he cheating? Was he gay? What was that? Like, that is still something that, like, I grapple with today. Like, I'm really not sure of those questions. To me, like, is he bisexual? Was that cheating? It's kind of similar to porn, so it's debatable. It's like, no matter what you say about the situation or what I say about this situation, everybody has different thoughts and opinions on Striking Vipers. So just that dialogue and the discussions is very intense and very interesting to me. Now, I will say this. I do think Carl was more into Danny than Danny was into him. So Carl, he might have been gay. I don't know. But one theory I do have, this is a very weird theory. I don't even know. But I really think that Danny's wife wanted this to happen, right? Like, she kept pursuing Carl, in my opinion. Like, when Danny was done with Carl, the wife was pursuing Carl to come back into their life, inviting him to dinner. Danny didn't want to be around him at a point, and I feel like the wife was pushing it a little bit. But I think the wife, which we see at the end, don't want to give away the ending, but the wife wanted to live out her fantasy as well. So if her husband had this fantasy, which was, when you think about it logically, he's online, it's safe, and it allows her to live out her fantasy. She went in person to get her swerve on at the bars. Again, I don't want to give away too much, especially for Striking Vipers. You guys have to go watch this episode. If you haven't watched it, or if you don't think it's high on your list, you probably need to rewatch that and ask yourself some questions. But look at that wife with a little side eye. I think she wanted that to happen because, again, I just think she wanted to get her swerve on too. But nonetheless, I am so excited that season 7 is coming out in just a few weeks. Make sure you subscribe, turn on your notifications, because I will be reviewing those 6 episodes as well and re-ranking my list. Love you all so much. See you on the next video. Peace.